Thank you to my beautiful wife, amazing, and forgive me, Lucy, and really just say thank you for everyone for coming here today. And toast to my wife.
Cheers.
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 Hello everybody, how you doing? I'm Gareth, by the way, if you don't know who I am. I'm Brad's younger brother. So I'd like again just to say what a nice wedding it's been, and I think Brad was supposed to do it, but the bridesmaids look lovely as well. Also, Kirsty looks lovely today as well. Okay, now I'm not very good with speeches, as you probably gathered. So what I did is ask the family to come and help me. We all got together, I think last weekend, just to get a speech together. So really was dreading it, but it was, when we got together, it was just so good to look back at all the fond memories of Brad when he was a youngster. Okay, so what I'd like to do is just share a few of these things with you just now, if that's okay. So when Brad was at primary school, I was a bit young, so I didn't really remember much of it. But I was told he was a model pupil, apparently. But I would always wait until he'd come home, because I obviously didn't have anyone to play with, but he'd be too tired to play with me because he's probably been being good all day. Now, I do remember around that time we were both keen rugby players. We don't look like it now. We really haven't grown with any muscles or anything, but we were on the same team together, as you can see, but we've got a huge sort of age gap. But so they didn't have enough people in all the teams, so what they did is they put about age difference of about 10 years together. And unfortunately, on one of the first games, I remember Brad found himself up against the biggest guy on the pitch. But he stood there, held his ground, but unfortunately he went flying, and he was in a sort of star jump formation, flying on the ground. But he finished the game. He did well. So after primary school, we moved on to secondary school. So our parents gave Brad the best start ever to fit in with his newfound friends. In his first PE lesson, all of his friends were comparing their Nike Air Max and Reebok pumps, and there was Brad with his bright white lace-up plimsolls. I can't believe they did that. But somehow they went missing in the first week. I don't know how that happened. Now, around secondary school, that's the time Brad probably had his first experiences with the opposite sex. I can't think why, because if you look back at his Leavers dance photo, he had a curtains haircut, he had a lime green baggy shirt, and a pirate earring to finish things off. Now, when Brad was young as well, I don't know if you know, he was actually quite musical. He did, from his position, he was in the choir, he also played the clarinet as well. He took it all so seriously that during his choir concert, halfway at the interval, he had an orange juice downing competition with his friends. Now, he was so desperate for a pee in the second half, he fainted and had to be taken home. Now, Brad's favourite hobbies are probably known as cycling. And we're all surprised it's remained so with all the accidents he's had. Whether it be breaking his finger, falling onto a stationary bonnet of a car, and also one incident we'll all remember where during his exams, he borrowed my dad's bike and my favourite shirt. Both of those things came back in bits, and he had a hole in his chin and a concussion. He had to sit the rest of his A-level exams in concussion. I don't know if he remembers much of it. No, okay. Now, when Brad started college, this is when he learned to drive as well. Now, this was his pride and joy, his mother's 1.4 Nova, which he was permanently attached to the whole time. At least you could tell everyone that he was a self-taught driver, because our dad gave him lessons on the way to work. But he fell asleep the entire trip, so Brad had to learn to drive himself. Now, when Brad first was applying to university, as we all know, Brad's was doing well in his medical career. Now, it wasn't always like this. It really took quite a while for his medical career to get going. Now, on application for his place in medical school, his first thing to do was to go out and buy himself a lucky interview suit. Now, he went around the shops, and if only we'd let him get the suit he really wanted, which was this cream-coloured suit. He really would have stood out from the crowd if he'd gone for that one. But unfortunately, we took him home. We got him the standard dark one. But unfortunately, he wasn't invited to any interviews at that point. But this just really shows how determined he really was. After all that, he phoned every medical school, I think, in the country and letters, and he eventually got himself a place at the prestigious Edinburgh University, which we're all very proud of. Now, unfortunately, the elation of getting this place led him to leading the high life at Edinburgh, but this didn't really match his student budget. I remember around that time lots of frantic calls home when he'd spent his entire student loan in the first week.
Exaggeration.
Now, Bryce, he's made a sensible decision to become his own boss. You know, much better hours. You put your family first and becoming a GP. Okay, now I had the great honour of actually working with Brad for 4 months when we worked in an A&E department together. And because we had the same surname, we actually thought we were only getting one of us, but it turned out there was 2 Medlocks. Okay, right then, so on a serious note, I want to say your greatest achievement is obviously Lucy. There we go. So, congratulations, and we all know you're going to be a great father. Okay, so could everyone be standing, please?
No.
A toast to the wonderful bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Medlock.
Well done.
Everyone.
Well done.
Well done.